All right, I think it's important to talk about the sort of concept with lighting that if you have a light source and you have the influence of either a bounce, bouncing that light back into the scene. So if you have, like, so for example, if you're outdoors and you're shooting and you have all this ambient light that comes back into the scene, you can use that ambient light to influence the overall sort of quality or the final look of your image. And one of the things that sort of was an eye-opener to me, or at least an area that I hadn't really experimented too much with, was taking what would be a single light source with no modifier other than just the hood, so like a standard reflector. Taking that light source and shooting it toward a subject, say on a white sweep, and you can get, if the further you back that image or that light up, the edgier the shadow will be that is cast onto the background, or the white sweep. And so at a certain point, if you back that light up, it will simulate sun. What the sun will do if you stand outside, take your hand and take a wall and let that shadow hit the wall, there's a certain edginess to that shadow, and it's fairly contrasty. It's a fairly sharp edge. If you take say a modifier like a 22-inch beauty dish and you have it 10 feet away and shoot onto a subject and they cast a shadow, that shadow is going to be fairly soft. And obviously with a big modifier, that edge is going to be even softer. So to simulate sun, there's a certain point in which you can back a light up with, say, an 8 to 12-inch reflector, and it will give you the same edge on the shadow that the sun will. And if you wanted, you could take a couple ways in figuring that out. Is you could take say, a picture of your hand on like a wall, take a picture of that shadow, and then go into a studio environment and take your light and shoot it and back the light up until you get a similar edge. Or you could take the actual light itself and take it outside and set up on a light stand and walk away, put it into the sun, walk away until it becomes the same diameter of the sun. Not probably a good idea unless you have some really good sunglasses on, because you don't want to damage your eyes. But basically the idea is, if you get your light to be the same diameter as the sun, it will cast the same edginess shadow onto the background, and you can simulate sunlight in a studio. And so as I experimented with this, I brought a model in, we did some shooting, got some pretty cool stuff, and it did in fact look like sun striking a subject, hitting onto a white background. What I did the next is I started influencing some white paper or foam core to bounce back into that scene, so that it would fill the model in a little bit and make it a little more pleasing. And it's important to understand that even though you have a very small light source that is way back, and it would probably be about 18 to 20 feet from the subject, would give you a similar look as what sun would be. That the more bounce you put back into that subject, the softer the light will get. So that makes sense. So what I began to do is to actually take one modifier or one light with a reflector, shoot it into a subject, and then envelope that subject with lots of white foam core. And it's amazing how soft you can actually get the image to look by just bouncing light back into the subject. So that's important to understand, that yes, it is a small source and it's very far away, so in theory it should be extremely contrasty, and it will be if you have no bounce influencing the subject. But by influencing the subject with bounce, you can soften the image down. So one of the things that I do is, when I'm outdoors and I think I've maybe mentioned this in another episode, is that if I know that I'm going to be outdoors and have the natural light as an influence into my picture, I can get away with smaller modifiers. I don't have to have as big of a, say, an octabox that I might like that light in the studio, but outdoors I know I can get away with a smaller modifier because a lot of ambient light is bouncing into the scene. You'll notice that if you are shooting a subject and they're on a beach with a lot of really white sand, that becomes a bounce source. If you're shooting in an alley, the light's hitting a white wall across the building and casting light into the shadow area of the alley, you can soften that whole light down and create a really beautiful light. So think about the influence of your light by the environment around it. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to take and basically take a model, throw light, one light onto a subject, and then begin to influence that subject with huge sheets of 4x8 foam core, white foam core, and see what kind of effect we get. And actually you can end up getting a look that just defies all logic, that you have a small source that's influencing it. So think about bounce as a key ingredient to influencing the quality of light. All right, here we have a scenario that is about as simple as you can get. We're simulating sun, and basically I have one light that's going to be about 20 feet up, about maybe 10 feet, just a little bit offset from dead center. And I've got Lauren Amante here again with us, and what my goal here would be is to create just a real crisp, sharp lighting that sort of you'll see in a lot of the magazine covers and things like that, in very high, I guess, high-key fashion. And I've got a backdrop here, just a sweep. I would prefer to have a wall that you could actually lean against, but I can't do that here with this. It is hanging. So I'm going to have Lauren probably about 1.5 feet from the background. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you this. We've got white on the bottom. So the sweep comes down. I've got some, it's a Home Depot product that it's a 4x8 sheets of really thin plastic, and I'm not sure the name of this product, but it's in Home Depot. It's 4x8. It's about 20 bucks a sheet, and I put that on the ground so you can kind of spin your feet around. You don't rip the plastic or the paper. But basically, that's creating a bounce up a little bit. We do have ceilings that have they're white, so they're creating a little bit of a bounce. So really, you've got some influence of bounce in this scene already. We're going to take and add some more bounce and show you a little bit what that looks like. But basically, I got one light source, and you would think it would be so harsh that it wouldn't be very pleasing, but it actually looks really good. So let's get you in front of the camera. And I've got same f8, 200th of a second. And let's take a look at this and show you guys. So straight on, let's do a straight on, right smack it there, right there. Okay. And so the chin, below the chin, you're going to have a sharp shadow, and you're going to probably have a pretty, maybe a little bit of a shadow on your nose. Take a look here, just a little bit. So really, it's filling in everything. Looks gorgeous. So we do have a little shadow behind her on the white, which could be good or bad. Depends. If you want that shadow to disappear, you would probably swing the light maybe a little bit more straight on. But this looks amazing. Let's try a couple more here. I'm going to back up just a little bit on you. Right there. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Let me get your hand in there. So just leave it right there. No, leave it down like you did right there. Ready? You focus on your eyes. Right there. Beautiful. So I can see actually my shadow showing up in there a little bit, which is probably not a good thing, but let's try that right like this. Maybe take my head out of there. But that's just nice, clean. Let's try a horizontal light. So if you want to maybe bring your hand up right there, yes, yes. Ah, looks amazing. Beautiful. All right, so what we're gonna do, let's go back to, let's do a pose that I can do twice. Just gonna move my lights or my flats in. So just kind of do straight on, maybe bring one hand up. Just like that, right there. Okay, now remember that pose, so we're gonna fire this off. So ready, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring in my flats. We're gonna add a little more fill to the scene here, a little more bounce. And so technically this should soften it up. Let's see, right about there. Okay, so same position right here, ready, 1, 2, 3. So a little bit, so let's take a look here. It's softened just a tad, so let's even bring them in more. Right about here. A little tighter. So maybe I open them up just a tad too to let that light come in. So this should bounce around. Okay, try another one again. Same pose? Yeah, same pose. Right there. So probably this does soften it just a little bit. It's not much, but we could also take a fill card here and also shoot. You ready? Again, let's go right about here. 1, 2, 3. So that's going to take a little bit of the edginess out of it. It's very subtle, but you look amazing. So that's taking one light source and creating a look that, like I said, has a lot of potential. Taking your modifiers, bouncing them around a little bit to soften it up. We're gonna change the outfit. I'll try this laying on the ground, because that's the shot that we've showed you is of ANNJULIA, I believe it is, on the ground, and let's take a look at what that looks like. All right, so we've got Lauren on the ground here, and because she's so close to this white plastic, or basically you could do a white sweep all the way across if you wanted, it's going to bounce light even more up into her. I've got the flats kind of bouncing, so they come back across here, about equal, almost an equal V. And then I've got my camera straight overhead, probably around 50 millimeters, somewhere around there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, my light is offset just a little bit. Again, it's about 20 feet back, 11 feet up. Bare reflector, no modifiers, no grids, nothing. So let's take a look at this. All right, right there. Make sure I'm focused. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, this looks amazing. So take your right hand and bring it in a little bit. I want to see it. Okay, right there. I'll take my glasses off. Maybe not too far in, but I want to see your hair there. But okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. And then just bring your chin towards your chest, just a little bit, right there, right there. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, this looks amazing. I'm going to move that light a little more dead center. Let's take a look at what that looks like. So run over here. And again, this is a judgment call. I think that I typically have it straight over, generally. Let's see what this looks like. Wow. It's a little off, but I love it. So take that right hand and just pull it away from your face a little bit. I want to see a little bit more of your hair.
Put it up here?
No, not too high. Yeah, right about there. Ready? And focus. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. So with all this bounced light back, it's softening the shadows. Still, it's distinct enough as you can see the shadows. Even if I could probably, if I wanted, I could even do this. Where's my little reflector? I could try this. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So it's going to put a little more bounce back into her. Bring your chin to your chest a little bit more. Right there. Oh yeah. I love it. Hold on, I'm going to fix one thing. Just stay where you're at. I'm going to pull this hair a little bit more in here so it's there. Okay. Yes. Chin toward your chest a little, right there, right there. Beautiful. Now take that hand, it's your right hand, maybe bring it out a little bit more or something, or maybe touch something like that. Chin toward right there, right there. Beautiful. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit, a little tighter. Oh man, this looks good. And again, chin straight up. Let's try it straight up again. Right there. Beautiful. All right, so there you have it. And very simple one light setup. Again, just a lot of bounce back. Lauren, you look great. So for those who want to do an assignment, again, I don't know if you've got foam core like this, 4x8s. I got 2 pieces taped together. So they're about 20 bucks a piece, so you get 40, 80 bucks in foam core. It's a little pricey. You might be able to, probably don't need the foam core this high up. So if you had one sheet, maybe laying down here, one sheet laying down here, with a little fill card, you'd probably simulate the same thing. So again, bare reflector, no modifier, 18 feet back, 11 feet high. That's all you need.
Special thanks to FJ Westcott for keeping this episode lit up. Like the music? Special thanks to Triple Scoop Music. Frame Network giveaways are brought to you by B&H. Head to giveaways.framenetwork.com for your chance to win. Find out more about the equipment used in this episode on framenetwork.com.
On the next episode of Lit Up.
As I began to work in the portrait, I'm a portrait shooter, and I started getting clients asking for athletes to be moving. And the first thing that I came across, or the problem that I came across, was that the strobes that I was using at the time weren't designed for high speed capture. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Oh, amazing.
Head to FrameNetwork.com and create your Passport login to gain exclusive access to Lit Up and your favorite shows. Only on Flix.